We have to see the sutra number. Sthanadi vyapadeshacha. Sthanadi vyapadeshacha. So, within Vedanta, if you have to teach something to somebody, then you have to prepare him also. Any responsible mother has to prepare her children to be independent. In order to cook food, you have to prepare for it. There are always preparatory steps for any meaningful thing, any action. For any achievement, there are always preparatory steps to be taken, including marriage. Yes, even before you get married, you have to find out exactly, you have to know what are your responsibilities. Instead of finding out how the girl is, the boy has to first find out how the boy is. Is it not? Am I really qualified for marriage? Do I have my impulses under my control? So, even for marriage, one has to prepare. Preparatory steps, proper preparatory steps make the achievement easier. Similarly, Vedanta also prepares the student by making him worship the truth correctly. Worshipping the truth means cherishing the truth. Creates in you prayer to the truth. Call it cherishing the truth. Call it prayer to the truth. Call it meditation on the truth. Call it belief in the truth. It hardly matters. But what matters is you do it exactly and correctly. My belief must be true to the nature of the truth. Because ultimately my understanding also has to be true to the nature of the truth. As is the truth, so is my understanding, then it is right understanding. And it should not be difficult to understand the truth as it is, because it is obvious. What it is obvious. One's own existence. So there is no need for speculation. Where there is speculation necessary, then each one would speculate apna tariqas. Therefore, for knowing the truth, we don't have to speculate, because our existence is most sacred. And we value everything because we value our existence. I value money because I value my existence. I value my peace, I value my happiness. I value my fullness. Meaning what? I value my existence as full. I value my existence as peaceful. I value my existence as unhappiness free. I value my existence as bondage free. I value my existence as problem free. So our existence as problem free is the most sacred. If that is the most sacred, that is obvious also, because I value that most. I value my existence most. Thinking that the money will give me that, or the pleasures will give me that, or the objects will give me that, property will give me that, I go after them. Therefore all our pursuits are motivated pursuits. All our impulses are motivated impulses. And that motive is, I want to be full. Even anger is motivated. Then nobody has unmotivated anger. The fundamental motive is, I react to any disturbance because I want to be free. My motive is to be disturbance free, irritation free. I want my existence to be irritation free. Therefore, when the truth is one's existence is obvious, there is no need to speculate. Looking at oneself closely helps us register what is obvious. So, what Vedanta does is, just as knowledge has to be about the obvious, and the belief also is about the obvious. You believe that the truth is obvious. It's a belief, so what? But my belief is a right belief. Why? Because I believe that the truth is obvious. That's a belief. Right belief slowly leads to right reflection. And the right belief also includes that the right belief has to culminate in right understanding. That is a part of that right belief. A wrong belief is that which tells you that there is no need for understanding. That is a part of wrong belief. A part of wrong belief is, it always tells you, rather hoodwinks you to believing that you don't require knowledge. Isn't it? The obvious needs to be registered. The obvious needs to be correctly understood. Otherwise the obvious will be misunderstood. And when the obvious is misunderstood, we suffer. Because any misconception about the unlimited, the misconception about the unlimited is that I am a limited form. The misconception about the eternal is I am non-eternal. The misconception about our peaceful nature is that I am subject to be disturbed, etc., etc. Misconception is never in our favor. Misconception is never in our favor. You can't have a favorable misconception. That is all wrong. Can you have a very favorable misconception? Sacred misconception. How? Can you have a sacred misconception? Greatly useful misconception. ऐसा नहीं होता है. If you say misconception can be very useful, very good, very much in my favor, that is another misconception. That is a misconception about the nature of the misconception. Hey Bhagavan. That is why Bhagavan gives us a Sunday, so that you can pile up all misconceptions. Weekend job of piling up misconceptions. Therefore, here the topic here is truth is worshipped. Because it is formless, you can worship it in any form. It is very logical. Because it is obvious, you can worship it in any obvious form. What the right belief does is, it stops you from speculation. It is the speculation that imagining. It is the speculation that stops us from looking at the obvious. It is the search that stops us from looking at the obvious. Therefore, the preparatory steps that the Vedanta teaches is that right from the childhood, cherish the truth. Cherish the source of the entire form. Theologically, we call him Bhagavan. but correctly. In a thinker's language, it is called the truth, Satyam. In a thinker's language, what is it? The truth, the unnegatable being, the being that lights up the whole creation, the being that lights up the mind, the being that lights up pleasures and pains, the being that lights up everything and itself is a self-luminous light, is Prakar. It says right from the childhood, cherish the truth. Cherishing the truth inspires you to be truthful in your day-to-day dealings. In this phrase you have to follow it. Cherishing the truth, which is called Bhagavan in a theological language, but which is the truth of our being, the truth of the whole universe, which lights up everything. In a thinker's language, that is the truth. So, cherishing that truth, respecting that truth, worshipping that truth, valuing that truth, the truth that lights up the whole form, respecting that truth, valuing that truth, that is called worshipping. What else? To worship something means to value it. What else? Just because you offer a flower, it doesn't become a worship. Worship is a value. You worship money. What does it mean? Arti. That is only externalizing. And when your value overflows, then it becomes agarbatti. Is it not? It just overflows. Inner value, तिजोरी के अंदर जो पैसा है, उसके लिए you value it in your heart, there is value. And when it overflows, it becomes what? Agarbatti. Yes. But worship is not a ritual. Worship means to value. If you have a value, that is worship. I worship my parents. What does it mean? I value them. Supposing you just worship and you don't value, then it is a ritual, meaning a formality. What is it for? It doesn't bless you. Then it is entertaining anyway. You don't value Ganga, but you give Arati to Ganga. And to value, in order to value Ganga, you should value water as a source of life. And in order to value water as a source of life, I should value life. And in order to value life, I have to value what my life can help me accomplish, the truth, understanding the truth. So ultimately all values are connected to the value of the truth, the value for the truth. Therefore, when we cherish the truth from the childhood, that is called Upanayanam. You give a child, a mantra. That is nothing but initiating the child into a kind of cherishing of the truth. Now, I was telling, slowly, when you cherish that truth, which lights up everything, which is the substance of everything, which is the material for everything, that truth when I cherish, when I develop interest and value for it, then it becomes easier for me to be truthful in my interaction. So I am using two words. One is that truth. The other is my behavior as my truthful behavior. Truth is the source of everything. Truth is the source of everything. My truthful behavior is what I do. My honesty, my being good, my being kind, my being nice to the people. You understand, my not getting up and then parading my frowns to the people. Not afraid, not parading. If you can't be nice to the people, then put a gungat, so that people can at least speculate, maybe you are not frowning. See, your interaction will be very nice, very pleasant and very truthful if we value the... So this is what is called preparatory steps taught by Vedanta before it unfolds the truth. Creating value in your heart for the truth, that is called a preparatory step. And in technical language it is called upasana. Upasana of the truth means you cherish. Say, if there is dukkham in life, there must be a situation which is totally free from dukkha. You can never have a phenomenon which doesn't have its opposite. Everything has its contrast. Unending dukkham has its contrast, unending peace also. Yes. That is something, it touches the thinking. My God. Logic tells it is possible. Therefore you go on cherishing the nature of the truth. That is called the preparatory step. Okay? Up to this, now there is upasana here. Hey, there is a truth in your eye, it said. Yesha kshini purusho drishyate Yesha atmeti vovache etadamritam abhayam etad brahmeti. This thing we have seen. There is a conscious being in your eye. And that conscious being is eternal. That conscious being is eternal. And it is unlimited. And if you put something in the eye, it doesn't touch the conscious being. What does it mean? It is conveying, it is giving a message. Hey, there is a truth right in your eye. If we believe the truth is right in my eyes, it is very intimate. If we believe the truth to be intimate, it is a right belief. If we understand that the truth is intimate, it is right understanding. The topic of the right belief and the right understanding is the same. Right belief prepares you for right understanding. That's called Shraddha. Right belief is Shraddha. Now the Purva-Pakshi said, no, maybe it is not Brahma, maybe it is some Jiva, maybe it is some Devata, it is not Brahman. In answer to this, the Siddhanti said, no, it is Brahman, it is the truth, ununderstood. The next sutra says, Sthanadi Vyapadeshacha. It is. Sthanadi Vyapadeshacha. The being in the eye is Brahman because the eye is mentioned here as a place for worship. Even though the unlimited cannot be only at one place. The unlimited is there in everything. When the unlimited is there in everything, but you can choose anything for worship. There is always an externalization of one's value. When you respect a person, you externalize your respect. To the person you externalize it by saying Namaste. Or at least you shake hand. Good enough. If you so love to exchange bacteria, if you love so much, if you love to exchange bacteria, you shake hands. But the most hygienic way of greeting a person is Namaste. The implication is you keep your bacteria with yourself. I keep mine with myself. But this is very nice. Why? Because this is very hygienic, very aesthetically very appealing. Very aesthetically appealing. You are touching yourself. When you are greeting a person, you are touching yourself. Means there is no difference between you and me. We are one. Namaste, my salutation to you. We look two, but we are one. These look two, but they are one. This is called Namaste. They look two, but they are one. Thus, any inner value somehow or other overflows and becomes externalized. Are you able to follow? Any inner value slowly overflows. Like a mother's sentiment for the children overflows and goes into the kitchen to make some food for them. What else? You can't contain your emotions for your children. It's not possible. Then it becomes too suffocating. Why should I suffocate myself? Let it overflow. Let it overflow. Similarly, if I value Parameshwara, the truth, the Lord, my value for the Lord becomes overflown and it becomes a kind of a puja. It becomes a kind of a worship. Why not? If I worship the Lord in a given form, God, you are the light of everything. You are very intimate to me, but I don't know. So I all the time entertain right thoughts about the truth, but as a matter of belief, which becomes preparatory for right understanding. Why not? Like anger can overflow, you are fuming inside and suddenly it externalizes. Hey Bhagwan, at that moment, you can understand. He can destroy his life. He can kill the other person. Then afterwards start repenting. Maine kya ki? That's why keep some water everywhere in the house. Keep some water in the bedroom. Keep some water in the drawing room. Keep some water at every few feet so that whenever you are angry you can take some water. In the meantime, it subsides, the anger subsides. Yes, a moment of crisis is gone. It's a fit of crisis. Just as any impulse can overflow, the love for Parameshwara, the love for God also can overflow. Why not? When it overflows, it externalizes itself, and the externalization of the inner devotion to the truth, inner value for the truth is called prayer and worship. And I can pray if God is everywhere, I can worship Him in any form. Is the best logic. Because in order to worship Him, I have to take the help of some form. It's like, please bring me some water, then you have to take the help of a glass. You can't bring water. Even if you bring it in your hand, you have to take the help of your hand. We don't have to be so averse to the forms when we are living in forms. We are living in a realm of forms. So I can worship the Lord in any form, but knowing very well Himself is formless, but I can worship Him in any form. That is it. Sthana adi vyapadeshacha. There is a mention of the I as the place of worship. I can worship the Lord, I can worship the truth in the sun, I can worship God in an object, I can worship God in my own eyes, I can worship God in my own breath. Whether it is intimate details or external details, all details are pervaded by the same truth. So I can worship the truth in any detail, I can worship God in the form of river, etc. And what is worshipped in any form is only the Parameshwara, not a given Devata, not a given individual. This is the clinching point. A given individual can be worshipped only in a given form, but the truth can be worshipped in any form. Like your parents, you can't worship them in any form. You have to worship them only in the form which they had taken. You can worship a given individual, you can worship Mahatma Gandhi only in that form. You can worship anybody else in that form. You can worship the sun in the form of the sun. You can worship the moon in the form of that moon. You can worship air in the form of the air. You can worship also the water in the form of the water. But you can worship God in any form because He pervades. He is not a given form. And therefore, He is not a given form, nor is He an aggregate of all forms. He is formless substance of all forms. And as a preparatory step, I can worship Him in any form. The clinching point is this. What is taught here, the being in the I, is not an individual, it is not a deity, it is the truth. Why? A given deity cannot be worshipped in any form. Whereas the truth, God can be worshipped. Are you able to follow what I am saying? I have told you, I have got my own limitations. So you have to make up for my limitations and understand. Supposing, if you create a longer gap, then you add it. You have to bridge the gap. Slowly understand. Because a given thing can only be a given thing. A non-given thing is the truth of every given thing. A non-given thing, which is not a given thing, is the truth of everything. Therefore, the truth can be worshipped in any given thing, whereas a given thing cannot be worshipped in anything. It has to be worshipped only in the form of that given thing. ये तो आप लोगों को समझना चाहिए. This sutra is over. I have covered a lot in it. Next, sukha visishta abhidhana cha. Sukha visishta abhidhana cha. No given individual is absolute serenity. We as individuals are subject to now pleasure, now pain, now happiness, now unhappiness, and now problem, now not problem, etc. Now comfort, now discomfort, etc. We are all vulnerable, whereas the truth is choicelessly, absolutely serene. Therefore, if it is something that is the being in the I, if it is something that is absolute peace, then it has to be the truth, not a given devata. This is the clinching point. If it is absolute serenity, then it has to be the truth, not a given individual creature or individual deity. Because whether you are a divine individual or a divine or an earthly individual, as an individual, we are vulnerable to both pleasure and pain. Only truth is choicelessly absolute serenity. And the Shruti tells the being in your I is absolute serenity, ununderstood. That means what is referred to as present, what is taught to be worshipped in one's I is the truth, not a devata, not a jiva. Sukha visishta abhidhana deva. Shruti uses the abhidhanam, the name for the being in the I, which means absolute serenity. What is it? Kam Brahma, Kam Brahma. Kam means Sukham. Kam means Sukham. The being in your eye is absolute serenity. The being in your eye is Kam, unlimited. So a given individual cannot be absolute serenity. A given individual also cannot be unlimited. Kam is the name for the truth, means what? Only peace. Kam is a name for Brahma, for the truth, meaning it is unlimited. Kam is a name, a descriptive name, Avidana. Are you able to follow? God is peace. Peace is a descriptive word. God is peace, unlimited. It is not a label, it is a description of the nature. A descriptive word which describes the nature doesn't bind us, it only describes and disappears. Like anything, it illumines and disappears. Like sparks, like fireworks, it illumines and disappears. Language is not a problem as long as it conveys and disappears. Conveys and disappears. And what remains is what it conveys. Supposing I keep thinking about the language, not what it conveys, then it becomes a headache. Then I am carrying the language in my mind. Are you able to follow? Then I carry the words in my mind. Therefore, there are two words, Kam Brahma. The being in the eye is Kam. Kam means Sukham. Kam means Akasham, means unlimited. So if it is the being in the eye, if it is something that is serenity and unlimited, should it be an earthly creature or a divine individual or God? It has to be truth. As earthly creatures and as forms, we cannot be unlimited. We cannot be unlimited. We are so small as forms. We just don't count. Supposing, these astronauts, when they go to the moon, they want to find out where is Delhi. Is it visible? So when you go to moon, then you say, oh my God, from here at least the moon is visible. From the moon the earth may not even. A small speck. These limitations, we are all just small earthly, small forms. Therefore, this description, absolute serenity and unlimitedness, these descriptions cannot apply to human forms or divine forms, or human minds or divine minds. It applies only to the conscious being, the truth. Sukha Visishta Vidhana Devacha. Clear? Next. I'll give you some. Kam Kam Shabdayo Brahma Shabda Shirastvam Kam Brahma Iti Ishtam Hi Sukhasyapi Gunasya Gunivadyayatvam. Let me read Bhashyam and explain some of the details. Let us do it in the next sutra. Shruta Upanishatka Gati Avidhanacha Shruta Upanishatka Gatya Vidhanacha. Shruta. What is heard in the Shruti? Upanishatka Gati. When a person cherishes the truth, worships the truth, but leaves the body without understanding the truth, he will be guided to a realm. The law guides him to a realm where he can understand. That is called Brahmaloka. Okay? Because what you do during a life guides me later. Therefore, if I have lived a truthful life, if I have lived a prayerful life, if I have been valuing the truth, but somehow or other by the end of life I fail to understand it. Which is possible, see? Somehow or other one fails to understand. Why not? There are people who work and work and work for so many years and still fail to make it, see? आपका एक कहानी सुनाऊं? I know in 70s, एक कहानी नहीं, एक्चुअल इवेंट जी. हमारे पास एक विद्यार्थी था. I don't know, I can't forget that episode. बार बार को आता है. And I can't tell this episode to anybody. Nobody is ready to listen. That's why I come here. We have a readily available audience to hear. So, श्रोता मिल जाता है जी यहाँ पर. You leave this place and then सुनाओ किसी को, कोई नहीं सुनेगा, कोई श्रोता नहीं. But that episode keeps coming to my mind. There was one person, his name was Balaji, in Bharati Vidyabhavan. Ek Balaji, those who used to come to Bharati Vidyabhavan may be remembering. There was one Balaji. I don't think he is there now. At that time, he was a very intelligent engineer. He was a great mechanical engineer. Brilliant. He had an old ambassador car. After the class, he would come and ask me, just to see this amazing, these are all phases of life. Very simple person, brilliant person, but very poor. He could not make money. With all his brilliance, he had no prarabdha. There was no money in his destiny really. His jab was always khali, poor thing. And only 5 and 1s and 2s notes used to be there. But yet he would call me after the class. Brahmachariji, at that time I was Brahmachariji. Brahmachariji, let us go and have breakfast. And I used to feel guilty, but then he has to pay for the breakfast in some restaurant. There was one thing called Harishchandra Mark, near Connaught Place, and some South Indian idli vada vagera. Then he would take me and then give me a nice breakfast, and he would pay all the changes, and I would say, poor thing, he doesn't have money. Then he wouldn't allow me to give. I had some money because people used to give thoda bahut. And I used to think, hey Bhagavan, why don't you give him some money? He's such a nice person, he is interested in Vedanta. He has value for all these spiritual things. Why don't you give him some money? In my heart, I used to take. Then later on, then I left Bharati Vidyabhavan, and then I got cut off from him, and he never came here. And almost after 15 years maybe, 15 years later, I saw him on the road in the same situation. And what he would do, he would push the car from behind and run and then sit in the driver's seat. You understand, Poor thing, there was nobody even to give the car a push. Himself would push and quickly run and then sit and then drive. Same old car. That's what I am telling. Some people, it's just not possible. It's not there. Failure is not uncommon, please. Success is uncommon. A very happiness-giving success. Not a sectarian success. Not a truncated success. But an all-round success is not easy. success that matters in life is not easy. Failure is, therefore, don't imagine success should be common. It's never common. Similarly, in spiritual life also there can be a failure. Suddenly if something may happen to me, I am studying Vedanta and suddenly something may happen and I go. Because whatever I may be doing, I cannot defy my destiny, my prarabdha, karma. If I am destined to go, I will go. I leave this form. I may continue this pursuit in the next life, that is a different matter. But man can quit, man can die, even doing the best thing in life. It is not that in a time becomes kind to us and allow us to complete the work. Does he do that? Does the Lord Yama think like that? बेचारा अपना बेटी का शादी है तो शादी के बाद लेके जाऊंगा, ऐसा कोई सोचेंगे? कोई नहीं सोचता. हमारा क्लास में कुछ हुआ, एक डॉक्टर फेल अनकॉन्शियस and दूसरा डॉक्टर came and helped him out. The doctor who helped him is no more there. The doctor who helped the another doctor is no more there. The doctor who brought out of that problem, unconscious state, he is doing well. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And the doctor who left, he was giving him advice. I heard, अपना देखभाल करो जी वगैरह वगैरह. ये तो अपना देखभाल कर रहे हैं, वो स्वयं चले गया बेचारा. Was such a regular student, ji. Now this is all, this kahani I told you only just to show. Failure is not uncommon. Let us learn with. There can never be a complete success. Only understanding the truth that matters. But if you talk the material language, you can never have an all-round success. Even if you have all-round success in your business, but you may not be able to. Your wife may desert you and go. Where is the all-round now? Where is the all-round? Mind, you have all the comforts minus your wife. तो करना क्या है उसको? Or you have an excellent wife, excellent children, everything, but then you have to push the car from behind and then run and sit in the drive. Poverty is poverty. That also pinches. Therefore, talking in material terms, there is failure. Some failure is always there. Because I have to neglect something to give all my attention to something else. It's not that we are such balanced people, we give equal attention to all of them. Itna nahi hai. We are all just, one-track minds. You understand, A businessman thinks day and night only about his business. He doesn't think of other essentials. But life is made of so many essentials. Okay, ji. Now, the topic here is, while studying Vedanta, supposing suddenly a person dies, his spiritual effort does not go waste. What I do always travels with me. If this is understood correctly, not believed blindly, but understood correctly, you would be thinking about the quality of your thinking and your action. Because all that travels with us is what we think and what we do. That is the only company. Even when a person goes to sleep, all his thinking is unmanifest. That is why the moment he wakes up, it manifests. Nothing new. His mind is not replaced by another mind. Similarly, in rebirth, you don't have a different kind of mind. You will have the mind with the seeds of the previous mind. That is called sanskara. Sanskara means when I take rebirth, all my thinkings now will all become my aptitudes. My serious thinkings today will become my serious aptitudes in the next life. Good enough? Good enough? Like my serious thinkings today will become my serious thinkings tomorrow also throughout life. Similarly, my serious thinkings in this life will become my serious aptitudes in the next life. So I don't lose. So if I have cherished the truth in this life, my cherishing in this life would guide me to a realm where I can understand. That realm is called Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka I am interpreting differently. Brahmaloka means a situation where I can think and understand. That's called Brahmaloka. Supposing you have got everything at home and you are able to survive, you are able to be comfortable and also be reflective about the truth. That is Brahmaloka. Why not? Brahmaloka need not be that there is a Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka का मतलब ये है कि a situation which helps me understand the truth. A situation which is conducive. Even to enter a situation which is conducive is not easy, Ji. Wherever you go, there is always some disturbance. You go to the forest, there are birds making noise. Now you can't even, yes, if you go to the forest and you want to be tranquil, quiet, there are birds mourning. And you don't like it. Noise is noise, whether it is made by birds or your neighbor. But noise is a noise.
Yes.
Noise is noise. Therefore, a conducive situation if you find yourself with in life, it is some grace. And grace means it is the result of your past karma. You can't define destiny except as the result of the past. Because Bhagavan cannot take two, he cannot write destiny. If he does it, then he will be full of likes and dislikes. Yes. Then he can write unfair destinies, is it not? Any writer is an individual. And every individual has got his bias. There is no objective, totally objective. That's all not possible. Therefore, God doesn't write our destiny. We write our destiny. Meaning what? What I do today becomes my destiny tomorrow. Today's karma becomes my tomorrow's phala, prarabdha, destiny. Therefore, there is nothing mystical about this. Therefore, the destination of a person, now I am clinching this thought, now let us clinch, let me not drag it on. Here this Shruti says, sir, Vedanta tells that, this sutra says that Vedanta says that if a person dies without understanding the truth, having been studying but yet without understanding, if he leaves the body, he will be led to a situation called Brahmaloka where he can understand. And such is possible only when he has cherished Parameshwara, the Lord, not a given deity. Brahmaloka Prapti is through the Brahma Upasana, not through Devata Upasana. Did you follow this? Devata Upasana cannot take you to Brahmaloka, but Brahma Upasana. There is a difference between admiring a great individual, like any great individual, like Swami Vivekananda or Mahatma Gandhi or even your local Amitabh Bachchan, etc., etc. Admiring an accomplished individual is different from admiring the truth, which is the truth of all individuals. Truth is different from a towering individual, a towering devata. And what really guides me to understanding the truth is cherishing the truth. Cherishing the truth takes me to the truth. Cherishing God takes me to understanding the truth. Not cherishing the personality of a towering individual or cherishing the personality of a divine individual. It is not going to happen. Clear? This also clarifies that the being in the eye that the Vedanta is referring to is Parameshwara, not Devata. Just I'll take another 5 minutes, then we will go. You know, Ji, it is not easy to hear for 1 hour, Ji, all Vedanta. But then, what alternative do we have? Do we have any choice? We have no choice. Now that you have come here, your driver also is going to come here with the car only after 8, 9:30. So even if you leave the class, you will be standing only at the gate. तो फायदा क्या हुआ? उससे अच्छा है यहीं पर पड़े रहना. See, we have got 3 words. One is called Chayatma. The other is called Vijnanatma. The third is called Devatatma. And the fourth is called the truth, the Ishvara. Means in this creation, various individuals. Chayatma का मतलब वही है कि just a reflection. One, all English educated people can easily understand a given individual vis-a-vis the unlimited truth. Wave is a given phenomenon. Water is not a given thing. It is the truth of all given waves. If you understand this, it will help you a lot. Wave is only a given thing. It's a given form. A bubble is a given creation. Wave is a given creation. Every bubble is a ripple is a given creation. Every bubble is a given creation. But the water, truth of all. Freedom lies in the truth of all given forms, which itself is not a given. It is the substance of all given things and itself is not a given thing. The more I think that a given form, a given thing is not my answer. Even if I am a towering given individual, I am still having problem because an individual. The logic says it is still limited. Even a big wave is limited, Ji. Even a big bubble is limited. Even a big breaker is limited. Tidal wave is limited. A creation can't match the source. Creation can't match the source. Appearance cannot match the reality. Mirage. The blueness that I see in the sky cannot match the sky. The sky, the colorless sky. Blueness is an illusion. Sky is the reality. Therefore, the more I cherish that my answer lies in the absolute, not in a given thing. And even if I accumulate billions of given things, an aggregate of many given things is still a given thing. It's a given pile of things. A pile of given things is still a given thing. Therefore, even if you have a flat in Lajpat Nagar, a flat in Greater Kailash, another flat in, you say, I've got so many flats. Is it given? Do they all become absolute? Flats will remain for others to live in. The owner goes. He just goes. If this is not illusion, what is it? This thinking that I have got this flat, that flat, that flat. and then you are saying that all is well. Discover in life, the first thing to discover is all is not well with any living being. Why? Because we are living in a life of illusion, self-misconception. I am living as an appearance. The substance is living as an appearance. The substance is not aware of its status as the substance. And therefore, all is well with me is how are you? All is well is a formality, not a fact. Is it not? It's a riba, ji. All is well is a formality. It is a riba. And then you stalk him who said and all is well and see where he goes and what he does. All is well is a phrase that is learnt while learning English. समझ गए ना? It is just a formality. जी. It is wonderful to discover it all cannot be well with whether it is a human individual or a divine individual or any living creature. It is not possible for all to be well. Why? Because he is living under the spell of a misconception about the truth. The moment I discover all is not well, then I enter the Shastra. When I enter the Shastra, the education about our existence begins. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagwan ki jai, Ganga Maiya ki jai. Thank you ji, thank you ji, thank you ji.